There is one dream in the world that once made a city look unstoppable. It wasn't a vague idea. It was a clear, almost unreachable promise. No income tax, no capital gains tax, no inheritance tax, year-round sunshine, and a skyline that seemed designed without limits. Ambition wasn't merely encouraged, it was expected. The rules that applied back home were left behind. Ceilings were officially higher. Millions bought into that promise. British professionals, Indian entrepreneurs, Chinese investors, South Asian laborers who physically built the city, finance workers, tech talent, influencers, retirees, remote workers. All of them chose Dubai because it turned a too-good-to-be-true deal into lived reality for a long time. But this story is about what happens when that deal quietly starts to change. It didn't collapse on a single day in February 2026. The repricing began years earlier, long before the world noticed. The numbers tell the whole story. In 2013, Dubai ranked as the 90th most expensive city for expatriates. 10 years later, in 2023, it had climbed to 31st, outpacing places like Miami. By 2024 to 2025, it stood at 15th globally, making it the priciest city in the entire Middle East. That jump isn't gradual, it's a vertical climb. Here's the hidden detail. Incomes didn't climb with it. About 40% of professionals received raises, but those were typically 5 to 10% per year. At the same time, rents surged 18 to 29% annually. Some companies even cut salaries for new hires. The math that once made Dubai irresistible was silently breaking. What that means for daily life. A one-bedroom in central Dubai now costs roughly 8,700 AED a month, about 2,300 US dollars each month, or near 28,000 US dollars a year just for rent. In Dubai, marina studios range from 70,000 to 95,000 AED annually. One-bedroom apartments climb to 170,000 AED. Premium spots on Palm Jumeirah and downtown push the figures even higher. Rent is only the start. International school fees can easily reach 10,000 to 25,000 US dollars per child per year. A two-child family can spend 50,000 to 60,000 US dollars on education alone. Add healthcare, over 5,000 US dollars per person, plus rising food, utilities, transport, and the reality becomes stark. The cost of living explosion outpaces salary growth for a large slice of the middle class. When that equation stops working, people make a simple decision. They leave. Quietly. Steadily. Thousands of middle-class professionals have already exited the UAE, replaced at the top by an influx of millionaires whose arrivals have pushed prices higher still. The result is a structural shift. The city is becoming more expensive, not just temporarily, but fundamentally. The middle layer that gives a city its energy, its culture, its daily life, is being squeezed out. Then came February 2026. U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran triggered a massive retaliation. Hundreds of missiles, drones, and cruise missiles were launched toward the UAE. While the vast majority were intercepted, debris sparked fires near major landmarks. A drone strike near Palm Jumeirah caused visible explosions. Debris hit parts of iconic structures, including the Burj Al Arab. Dubai International Airport was briefly shut down, and financial districts emptied as major institutions moved staff to safety. For the first time in years, the image of Dubai as untouchable and completely secure was shattered. What mattered most in that moment wasn't the physical damage. It was the psychological shift that followed and spread across global perception. Dubai's entire economic model, more than most cities on Earth, depends not only on infrastructure or policy, but on belief. Belief in stability, safety, opportunity. That belief is fragile. It takes decades to build, but can change in a matter of hours. The incident forced everyone to ask, what if the untouchable image isn't untouchable after all? Layered response, ultra-high net worth individuals, Those with hundreds of millions or billions remain insulated. For them, Dubai is a strategic node. Tax efficiency, regulatory flexibility, luxury infrastructure, and geographic positioning between major markets. Their decisions stay long-term, so they can ride out short-term turbulence. The professional class, engineers, consultants, managers, healthcare workers, educators, entrepreneurs, already faced rising rents, school fees, and stagnant salaries. The conflict simply exposed the cracks, accelerating the choice to stay or go. Their calculus now hinges on sustainability. Can I realistically build a long-term life here? The labor force, service staff, construction workers, drivers, hospitality employees, felt the impact instantly. When tourism slowed and hotels emptied, their income vanished without any hedge. Their version of the Dubai dream was always the most fragile, and it broke first. What this reveals is that the Dubai dream was never a single reality. It existed in multiple layers: a financial strategy for the ultra-wealthy, a career boost for the middle class, economic survival for the workers. Pressure builds differently on each layer, and each reacts in its own way. So, where does it go from here? In the short term, Dubai will likely recover. It has survived past crises, financial collapses, global shutdowns, regional instability. The tax advantages, the airport hub, the global brand remain structural strengths. But the long-term direction is the real question. The affordability crisis, the widening gap between salaries and living costs, and the loss of the middle class are structural, not temporary. Dubai will continue to compete with global cities like Singapore, London, and New York, each eventually facing the same challenge. Who is the city actually for? Right now, the trajectory is clearer. Upward for the wealthy, outward for everyone else. The Dubai dream isn't over, but it is becoming narrower, more exclusive, more selective. Whether that is a deliberate strategy or an unintended outcome will define the city's future. If you've lived in Dubai, worked there, or are thinking about moving, has the calculation changed for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dive analyses that go beyond headlines and into the real stories behind global economies and power shifts, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next story is already unfolding.